So I shall try. Okay. Today I will select one Vedantic subject. An inquiry into the self. An inquiry into the self. That means we have to understand our real nature. What is this human personality? There are different layers of a human personality. The physical body is there, mental body is there, and there is psychic body is there, and spiritual element is there behind all these things. What is this spiritual element? We have to understand this one. So what is human personality? What are the different layers of human personality? What is our real nature? What is human? What is human actually? Human means what? Swami Vivekananda says each soul is potentially divine. What is divinity? It's just a word for us, is it not? It doesn't mean anything actually. Unless you analyze it, try to understand at least intellectually. Then only you will know what it is. So that means our education is always related to the external things. Modern education, is it not? External things only. But we have to know something about ourselves also. What is our real nature? What is really human personality? What is the meaning of life? All these things we must at least try to understand and analyze and try to know something about it. Is it not? This is called self-inquiry. Inquiry into the self. We have to go deep within ourselves. There is a particular shloka verse is there in Canopanishad. It says, Paranchi khani vetrunat swayambhuhu tasmat param pashyati na antaratma. That means Paranchi khani, that God, what he has done, he has done some mischief. What is that mischief he did? While creating human beings and other beings also, he has made in such a way that all the senses are outward only, not inward. All the senses are outward, protruding outward. Mind also is going outward. So because of that, what we do, we always see external things only, not go within at all. We are not able to see what is happening within ourselves. So, Paranchikani Vetrana Swayambhu Tasmat Param Pashite Nantaratma Kaschidjiraha Pratyagatmanamekshat Avrutta Chakshuhu Amrutatva Michan. In spite of this mischief done by God, some bold persons, Dhira, Jnanis, wise people, what they did, they turn their attention inward. They took a U-turn altogether. They were going like this, and suddenly U-turn took place. They started looking within themselves. What is this? What is this human personality? What I am actually? I am means what? What is this? What is his I? Constantly telling, bubbling up like anything in every thing we do. Bubbling up. I. What is this? So they went on inquiring about this one. Avrutta Chakshu, turning their attention inward, they went on thinking about that. And what happened? They realized their real nature, that is self, through that process. So self-inquiry means trying to know our real nature. What is the self? What is the divinity? What is called spiritual element in us? We have to understand this one. So that is why, as we study outside things, you must try to study ourselves also. That's also very important. Self-study. Swadhyaya means that actually. Swadhyaya means what? Self-study. Studying ourselves. So we have to do that. So let us try to understand what is this spiritual element in us. We know what is body. We know what is mind. They say in Indian philosophy, there are three aspects of human personality. One is physical and mental and spiritual. What is the spiritual? Body we know. We all experience this one. We see it. We experience every moment. And mind also we know. So many thoughts are coming, emotions are coming, everything is there. We know about it very clearly. And what is the spirit then? What is the spiritual element? What is the divinity? Let us try to intellectually just try to understand this one. Intellectually. Experience is later. I will give an example. Help of an example, I will try to explain. Just have a glimpse, intellectual glimpse of what it could be. For example, there is a man is there. Man is there. Machine also is there. Machine also works. Man also works. Perhaps machine works much better than man. Actually, we know machine works much better than man. But that is why Swami Vivekananda says, it is better to be a imperfect human being than to be a perfect machine. So even though man works imperfectly, he is much better than the machine that works perfectly. Why? There is a difference between this machine and the man. In machine, it mechanically works. It cannot understand I am working. I am working. That sense of I-ness is not there. Awareness is not there. Is it not? Is it clear? Is it not? That awareness is not there. But in human being, there is that awareness is there. Yes, I am working. Now I am talking. Yes, I know I am talking. I am seeing you. I know I am seeing you. You are also listening, and you are listening. That I consciousness is attached to every action that I do. I consciousness is attached to it. That awareness, this I consciousness, is only given to human beings only, not to the machine. Machine cannot endowed with this kind of consciousness. Is devoid of that one. And there is another thing is there. The I consciousness is one thing, awareness is one thing. Another thing is man can think, I have to derive the sense of fulfillment through this work. I have to do the work perfectly. I should not be selfish. I must be efficient in work. Or I may do it anyway I like. These things also possible. Machine cannot do that. Machine has to work as it is guided by the human beings. As it is tuned to that. So machines cannot think in all these ways at all. And also machine cannot think that I am in bondage and I want to be free. Only human beings can think like that. I am in bondage. The senses, the mind, all these kinds of emotions, negative emotions, so many things, temptations are bombarding me. They are controlling me. I can understand this. I have to be free from it. So many bondages are there. External bondages also are there. I want to be free from it. All this thinking is possible only for human beings, not to the animals, not to the machine also. All these things indicate there is some other element other than this body-mind complex. Because machine also, as you all know, nowadays the machines are so sophisticated, they can think as like human beings also. They can work like human beings also sometimes. Artificial intelligence is there. But other than all these things, this awareness, this consciousness is something different from the machine, however sophisticated it may be. This is given only to man only. So there is some other element which is not matter at all. Not matter. Body is a matter. The mind also is a matter. Very, very subtle matter. Very, very subtle matter. Body also is a matter. The machine also is a matter. But there is some other element which is other than the matter. That which is other than the matter is called spiritual. Because of the spiritual element, I am able to think deeply. I am able to discriminate between what is good and what is wrong and all that. I am able to do all these things because of the spiritual element within me. So I can feel myself completely different from all these things. I am, sense of I am is there. This is possible only for man because of the manifestation, greater manifestation of divinity in him, greater manifestation of awareness in him. Because of this, man is able to think in these lines a completely different way. Machines cannot do that. Machines cannot do that. So this is how we have to analyze. We come to some glimpse of what it could be. What is that? Is the spiritual element is something different from the body, thinking mind, and also even the intellect, that is buddhi, and something completely different from all these things. What is that? What is that then? So that is, we have to think about it. What it is, what self is. Now, there is a particular Upanishad called Canopanishad. It's a very small Upanishad, but very profound. Very profound. That Upanishad starts with this question: Kene shitam patati preshitam manaha kena pranamaha pratamaha pratiyuktaha, etc. etc. It goes on like this. The gist of the whole shloka is this: who is really the perceiver? Who is really the perceiver? This is a different kinds of inquiry altogether. Different kind of inquiry. We perceive the external world through our senses, is it not? The eyes are there to see the object outside. Different kinds of forms and colors and all that we see through the eyes. Through the ears, we hear so many different kinds of sounds. Through the nose, we experience so many different kinds of smells. So like that, all the five indriyas are there. Through these five indriyas, we experience external world in a different way. And we receive so many sense data through these external senses. So we become aware of the external world because of these senses. That means, who is actually the perceiver? We have to think about it. This kind of inquiry goes on in the Upanishads. Who is actually the perceiver? I perceive through the eyes, through the ear, through the nose, everything. Different things we perceive through these senses, and also mind. Mind also helps behind that. Who is actually the perceiver? The eyes, I take for example first eye. Eye. Eye is there. Eye means this is eye. Two eyes. These eyes, I see the external forms. But eyes are only like a machine. They are only a camera, like camera. Can camera see? It cannot. Camera is not, doesn't see anything. It only records the forms, that's all. Captures the forms, that's all. In the similar way, eye also captures the form, that's all. All the sense data sensed by the senses goes to the brain center and gets recorded in different centers there. For example, I see a flying bird in the sky. Bird is flying and it is chirping, and color is there, the movement is there, and everything is there. Background sky is there. All these things I perceive. All these things, sense data. The color is also sense data. The movement of the bird also is a sense data, and the chirping sound is there. That is also a sense data. All these sense data goes within the mind, within the brain, and it gets recorded in different centers. And the problem now is, who perceives it actually? See, all these things gets recorded in the different centers of the brain, and where all these things collected together made themselves into a whole, and becomes a flying bird. I see the flying bird immediately. Within a very fraction of a second, so many processes takes place within the brain, and the whole thing is bird is created. Flying bird is created within. Where it is created? We say neurologists are not able to answer this question, where it is created. And we say it is created in the mind. in the creating. That means the thought wave related to that flying bird is created within the mind. That is, we call it chitta vritti. It is called chitta vritti. Thought wave is created related to that one. And who perceives it? Who perceives it? They ask the question, is there a teeny being sitting at the corner of the brain perceiving it? No, it cannot be. Canopanishad says it is the self that is perceiving. Self that is perceiving. The self within, the divinity within, spiritual element within, that perceives it. And mind creates that object, collecting all the sense data related to this particular two eyes, and they collect all the sense data and create, with the help of that, they create the bird, flying bird, and immediately I see the flying bird. Who perceives then? There's something else is there. It's not the mind. It's not the brain. Something else is there which perceives it. That perceiving element, real perceiver is the self, according to that Canopanishad. So that perceiver is something different, because it's all object. All the things are object. We are only, whatever that we perceive is only object. Who is the perceiver? Who is the subject element? That particular self is the subjective element in all our experiences. We think, mind thinks, through the mind we think, we cogitate, we reflect in the mind, in the intellect. Who is behind that one? Who is behind? Actually, the mind is only a machine. Just like a body. Body is a machine. The mind also is like a machine, very, very sophisticated machine. And whatever that is happens in the mind, who perceives it? For example, I will give another example. That is another scripture about that. Another scripture is there. That is Drishya Viveka. I will explain that one also. See, the thing is, eyes are there. These two eyes are there. They are the subject to the external object that we perceive through the eyes. For example, this particular person is there. His person is sitting. That person sitting is the object of my perception. And two eyes are the subject that sees that particular object. That person is boy sitting there. And the mind can think of the eyes, these two eyes. Mind can think of this. What are the defects of the eyes? Whether it is very, very alert, whether it is some defect is there, whether it is, very sharp or not sharp, and all that. All these things, the mind can think about it. That means mind becomes the subject. These two eyes becomes this object. For earlier, the external object is the external particular object, that is this object of perception. It may be a person or a tree or whatever that may be. And now the eyes themselves become the object and mind becomes the subject. Now you close your eyes and try to think of the mind, what is going on in the mind. So many thoughts come, so many pictures come. Picture of a man comes, picture of an animal comes, picture of a tree, so many things. You can perceive it. Closing your eyes, you can perceive it. Who perceives it? Who perceives it? In dream, in dream, all your external senses are dead, closed. Is it not? They are not working. But even then, you perceive so many things. Whole world you perceive it. Perceive. The mind, creates the different world in the dream. And who perceives that? Who perceives it? There is some other perceiver who perceives the mental modifications. That who perceives that mental modifications, he is called drik. He is called the self, witnessing self. That witnessing self cannot be perceived. If that also can be perceived, you have to assume some other person who is perceiving it, some other element which is perceiving it. Is it not? So that means we have to stop somewhere. That is why we say, the Vedanta says, the self, the divinity, the spiritual element is the ultimate perceiver. And everything is perceived by that particular thing. that particular spiritual element. So for that particular spiritual element, everything becomes a drishya, the object of perception. So that means real perceiver is the self. And another point that Canopanishad, very profound Upanishad it is, it says, in every knowledge, the self is revealed. It's a very, very, very interesting thing to be noted. Every knowledge, self is revealed. How? For example, I am seeing you, I am seeing you. What happens in seeing external things? The light falls on that particular object, light falls on that particular object, and it is reflected and goes to the eyes. The object do not go within my eyes. Only the reflected light only goes within the eyes. And that reflected light is carried on to the brain centers, and perception takes place further. So that means when I perceive through the eyes, different objects, external objects, I perceive only the light. Light rays only I perceive. Light rays only I perceive. Object will not go inside. Object remains always there. Whether how the object is there, whether the object is there as I am perceiving it, that also is not known. It may be distorted. Quite possible. They say there is a different theories are there about this house. That means whatever that I perceive is the creation of the mind. Mind takes up all the different sense data, and object is created within the mind, and we perceive it. Whether object is actually as I am perceiving it is not known at all. So that is why one philosopher says, thing in itself cannot be known. Thing in itself as it is, cannot be known. Because I know the world only as I perceive it, as the mind is created. Nowadays they say, neuroscience says it is brain creates the world. As the brain is created, I perceive the world. Whether actually how I am perceiving the world is completely, it may be world may be completely different from what I am perceiving it, how I am perceiving it. Quite different. It is quite possible. How it is there, I really do not know. Anyway, that's a different subject. Now, what Canopanishad says, every knowledge is the knowledge of the self. It is a reflection of the self. Because I see the external object as a light rays only. Is it not? Light rays only I am seeing it. Similarly, in the mind, Chittavritti is created related to that particular object, and I see that Chittavritti. Who sees? That self sees. How sees? That light of the self is reflected through the Chittavritti. Light, just like the external light is reflected through the object, the light of the self reflected through the concept, that awareness, light of the awareness reflected through the Chittavritti. Then I perceive the object. I know the object. I just recognize it. It's just a recognition. It's not seeing is not a process here. Seeing not a process. It's not a create. It is just a recognition. He won't change. There's no change. There's no activity in the self. There's no activity. He just remains there as a witness, pure witness, and sees, that's all. And every perception takes place because of his presence. If that presence is not there, I cannot perceive anything. I cannot know anything. So that means every knowledge is a reflection of the self. So every knowledge is pure. That is why in Bhagavad Gita says, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitra mehe vidyate. There is no knowledge, nothing in this world which is as pure as the knowledge. Why it is so pure? Because of it is a light of the self itself. Every knowledge is a reflection of the light of the self itself. That is why it is pure, purest in the world. So that means every time I am seeing the object, I am seeing the self. When I get the knowledge, I am seeing you, I am actually seeing the self. But I am not able to recognize because I am more engrossed in the external form only. That is why I am not able to recognize the self within. So every knowledge reflects the self. There is it is explained in a very beautiful way in the Panchadashi. In the Panchadashi, there is one particular shloka is there. Adhyetru varga madhyastha putradhyena shabdavato bhanam api abhanam bhanasya pratibandha pratibandha tasya pratibandha, something like that. Last line I forgot. Anyway, he says one particular Brahmin is there. His boy is studying in a Gurukula. After some time, this Brahmin goes there to see the boy. When he goes there to the ashram, that Gurukula, when he goes there, and so many this Votus are there, brahmacharis studying there in that Gurukula, they were chanting the Vedas. They all sitting together and chanting like this, sitting and chanting. And his son also was there among them. He was also sitting and chanting. Even though actually he is hearing the voice of his son, is it not? He is hearing the voice of the son, but it is mixed with all other voice. He is not able to identify which is the voice of my son. He is not able to, is it not? Even though he is hearing, even though he is listening, but he is not able to identify his voice. Similarly, even though we are aware of the self every time, all the time, whenever we are awake, whenever we are awake, we are all the time we are aware of itself, but we are not able to identify. We are not able to recognize it because we are engrossed in the external objects. Because of that, we are not able to. Take another example. Earlier, this clock was there, wall clock. It used to make a lot of sound, is it not? Tick, 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 makes sound it makes. Daytime, you don't listen. Why you don't listen? It is quite simple, because of the other disturbances. So many other sounds are there. That is why I am able to listen to it. Night time, it is very clearly visible because other sounds are subsided. So I am able to listen to it very clearly. Even daytime also, you will be able to really listen to it if you focus your attention on that, bracketing all other sounds. So then you are able to clearly listen to that sound. Similarly, if we concentrate our mind and all other thoughts are removed related to the external objects, all other chittavrittis are removed, chittavrittis are subsided, then you can get the glimpse of the self within. That is the result of meditation. That is the effect of meditation. When you come to know that your real nature, that is self, in spite of all the, for example, you may say that when the thoughts all the removed, you become completely go to the sleep, etc., etc. That state also is possible. But if you remain yourselves awake, you will see, in spite of everything is stopped. That this one is not, no chittavrittis are there, no thoughts are there. So no objects are there. No object of perceptions are there. Internal perception, external perception, everything is stopped. But even then, you feel something exists. You are there. You are there. Still you are there. Who are you then? Who are you? Who am I? So that is how we have to inquire into the self. Sri Ramakrishna explains this with a very beautiful example. The onion is there, onion, So one person wanted to know what is onion. He went on peeling the layers one after the other, one after the other. He went on peeling, and he did not find any onion at all. No onion at all. He could not find anything. So Sri Ramakrishna says, if you go on analyzing what is this I, constantly bubbling up, this I, what is this I? What is it? Is it the body? Is it the senses? Is it the mental modifications? Is it intellect? Everything is remove. When you go on removing all other things, attributes, all the different layers, then you will arrive at a pure existence, awareness, pure awareness. Sense of pure awareness would be there, would remain. Everything is gone. That sense of pure awareness is the self. Awareness, pure awareness is the self. That presence, you must be able to feel it. When you really, in a real sense, if you are able to meditate. That I consciousness, I am there. When all the things are stopped and everything is stopped, but still I feel I am there. I am there. Who am I then? Am I this body? No, I am not aware of the body at the time. Am I aware of the mental modification? That's also not there. It's not stopped. But still, I feel I am. That pure I am. Amness is there. That cannot be explained how it is, what it is. That self cannot be explained. Natatra chaksho gacchati na gacchati no manaha navidmo na vijanimaha yathetad anushishat. There, the eyes cannot go there. The walk cannot, the speech also cannot go there. This mind also cannot go there. That means they cannot explain it. They cannot understand it. They cannot perceive it. And the Rishi, that person questions, how to understand it, how to know it, how to teach this to others. Navidmo, navijanimaha, yatha anushishat. How to teach others, we don't know. It's not possible. Sri Ramakrishna gives a very beautiful example. In this world, everything is defiled. ಉಚ್ಚಿಷ್ಟ. ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಉಚ್ಚಿಷ್ಟವಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೇಗೆ ಉಚ್ಚಿಷ್ಟವಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಾತಿನ ಮೂಲಕ, ಬಾಯಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಹೀಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಾಯಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಅದು ಬಾಯಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಬಂದಿದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದಾಗಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಂಜಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಂಜಲ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಯಾವ್ದದು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಈ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮವತ್ತು, ಆತ್ಮತತ್ವ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಅದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಎಂಜಲ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಬಾಯಿ ಮೂಲಕ ಹೇಳೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಅಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಆಗಿರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರವಾಗಿ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಶಿಷ್ಯ ಗುರುವಿನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನಂತೆ. ಗುರುವಿನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೇಳಿದ್ನಂತೆ, ಯು ಟೀಚ್ ಮಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಂತ. ಯು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಗುರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಂತೆ, ಏನು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವನು ಶಿಷ್ಯ 2ನೇ ಸತಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ನಂತೆ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. 3ನೇ ಸತಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ನಂತೆ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವಾಗ ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಸರ ಆಯ್ತು. ಏನು, ನಾನು 3-4 ಸತಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಉತ್ತರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಆಗ ಗುರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಂತೆ, ನಾನು ಉತ್ತರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಿನಗೆ ಅರ್ಥವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆನ್ಸರಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಗ್ರಾಸ್ಪ್ ಇಟ್, ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಟ್. ಉಪಶಾಂತೋಯಮಾತ್ಮ, he says. Upashanta, silence is the self, he said. Silence is the self. When everything is silenced, the body is silenced, senses are silenced, mind is silenced, and everything is silenced. That silence itself is the Atma. That is why Ramana Maharaj also says, it seems, yaro igene ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಂತೆ, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಸುಮ್ಮನಿರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸುಮ್ಮನಿರು ನೀನು ಸುಮ್ಮನಿದ್ರೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ನೀನು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸು ನಿಂತು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್. ಮೈಂಡು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಮೈಂಡು ಸುಮ್ಮನಾಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಮೈಂಡು ಸುಮ್ಮನಾಗೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಮೈಂಡು ಕೂಡ ಸುಮ್ಮನಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆಗ ನಮಗೆ ಆತ್ಮದ ಅರಿವು ಉಂಟಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರನೇ ಧ್ಯಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಶಸ್ತ್ಯ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಆತ್ಮದ ಅರಿವು ಉಂಟಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ ಇಂಥ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಭೌತಿಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲೂ ಅನ್ಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಸಪ್ಪೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೆ, ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅಡಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಮೊಬೈಲ್, ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಶ್ ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಅರಿವು ನಾವು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಧ್ಯಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಆಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಷ್ಟು ಕೂಡ ಆತ್ಮದ ಅರಿವು ಉಂಟಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆತ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಆತ್ಮ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ದಿ ಬ್ಲಿಸ್, ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಬ್ಲಿಸ್, ಆನಂದ, ಆನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆತ್ಮನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಆನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಆನಂದ ನಮಗುಂಟಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಆನಂದದ ಮುಂದೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಶ್, ರಿಯಲಿ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಶ್. ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅಲ್ಪವಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ತುಚ್ಛವಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆನಂದವು ಕೂಡ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಜಪ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗೆ ಅಂತರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಆನಂದವನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಆನಂದ ನಿಜವಾದ ಆನಂದ ಅಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಅಲ್ಪವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಮಗೆ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆನಂದ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಆತ್ಮದ ಆನಂದದ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್, ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್, ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದು 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 ನಿಜವಾಗೂ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆನಂದ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕೋ ಆನಂದ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಬಾಹ್ಯ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆನಂದ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಳಗಿಂದಲೇ ಬರೋದು, ವಿಷಯದಿಂದ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಳಗಿಂದಲೇ ಬರೋದು. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಳಗಿಂದಲೇ. ಅದು ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಏನೋ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್, ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ವೆರಿ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. Source is there. Very source is there. We have to go to the source. Source is within. So this is very important point to be noted. That's knowing ourselves and manifesting our own real nature, manifestation of divinity, as Swami Vivekananda says, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity. Swami Vivekananda says. When this manifestation of divinity takes place, when the divinity is manifested, everything noble will come to us. Whatever that is noble, whatever that is excellent, power will come, glory will come, purity will come, goodness will come, everything excellent will come when the sleeping soul manifests itself into self-conscious activities, rouse itself into self-conscious activity. So this is how, that is why we always emphasize the manifestation of divinity. Swami Vivekananda repeatedly says, manifest divinity, and everything will be arranged harmoniously around it. That's what Swamiji says. So this manifestation of divinity is most important thing, and this can be done through the selfless activities, through meditation, through prayer, through purification of the mind in different ways. All these things, when the mind is purified, when all the world samskaras are subsided and eliminated, then we see the bottom of our personality, What is that bottom of the personality? Divinity, self, spiritual self. Okay? You think about it, deeply think about it. Next time we have to raise the questions about it. We shall discuss on the questions you raise. Okay? Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram